Hey, was I supposed to say hi, or were you supposed to say
Yeah,
hi?
yeah.
Okay. Hello.
I
I didn't know. Look, I just got here. All right, hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Get Good Xbox EU. It's the grand finals. It's finally come to these two teams. It is Inferno versus the Boosted Boys. I'm Bemi. Along with me is literally the entire body of water, ocean themselves. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm super excited for these Xbox EU Grand Finals. We've got Inferno taking on the Boosted Boys. Boosted Boys coming off a shock victory yesterday against Oblivion. Oblivion have a pretty stacked roster themselves. I was fully expecting them to be casting them today in our Grand Final. However, Boosted Boys coming with 3-0 against Oblivion, and we'll play Inferno in our Grand Finals. Inferno have been looking extremely dominant this season.
Okay, well, I mean, the dominance, where does it come from? Does it come from just being genuinely a good team with good synergy, or does it have individualistic talents? Like, since you have been well versed more in the Xbox scene than I have, what would you say makes this team great?
Well, they've got a lot of different options in their lineup. They are really, really good at building a roster and then making changes around that. Previous in the season, they had Radical Gamer, who was a fantastic systematical DPS player, could play Symmetra and Sombra very, very well. So if they wanted to pass through some tank lines, they could put Radical in. And they've got Iozi, who's a fantastic flex player, could play Hanzo, Farah, just could play just about anything on that DPS role. So they've been really, really good at building their roster, making decisions around that. That's what Inferno have been great. They've got loads of different support players as well who can play a bunch of different heroes. So they've got so many different options, and they've been using that versatility really wisely. But I feel like now in this grand final, they're facing their ultimate test. They had kind of an easy run of it through playoffs. They played Kaibed in the last round, who were probably the weakest team left, and Boosted Boys and Oblivion were kind of left to fight it out. So now they're in a position where they have to be at their best, otherwise they will not be taking home that first place.
So, in the sense of a David versus Goliath matchup, you would say that the Goliath would be Boosted Boys?
Probably.
Okay, well, fair enough. We'll see if that comes into fruition. But let's talk about maps. The first map coming up is, I believe, Oasis. So going into this, metas are very different for console than they are for PC. So what should we be expecting going into this?
So Xbox is actually a lot more similar to PC now. Back before, it used to just be a lot of projectile spam. Ashe and Pharah are very strong heroes on console, a little bit more so than PC, despite Ashe being a meta pick right now, even in Overwatch League and contenders. But Pharah is definitely one hero that is definitely boosted in play rates on console. So that's a hero we're going to be looking out for, particularly on Oasis Gardens and City Center. We could see a lot of that hero. But one thing that's interesting to note is Inferno were able to pick this map as the #1 seed, and they picked Oasis despite having an 100% win percentage on Lijiang Tower. Now, this could be due to Boosted Boys winning Lijiang Tower against Oblivion yesterday, and they just don't want Boosted Boys to be comfortable. But
sure,
definitely surprising to me that they didn't go for that Lijiang pick.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Ocean, where it's just sort of in the situation of starting on neutral ground. This also allows them to kind of read their opponents a little more honestly and just sort of study the behavior and play style of the map that maybe they're not too comfortable with. So maybe they have some strats up their sleeve, and also on top of that, this does allow them to learn some stuff. So here we go. It's going to be interesting to see. We are starting on the city center, or the egg, as I like to call it, because there's an egg thing there. But going into this, Farah, you talked about it earlier. I feel like this would be the most likely to see her on this map. But what do you feel like for City Center?
Yeah, Pharah is pretty popular on this map. However, if you lose that first fight with the Pharah, it's really easy for the hit scans and even other DPS like Tracer and Sombra to get access to the high ground on the left or right hand side, what I like to call the bouncy castle. So they're able to get high ground easily, and that means the Pharah is going to lose a lot of its value. So if you're running that Pharah, realistically, you have to win that first fight.
Okay, well, I do see Manic on it for Boost Boys. But no, yeah, this looks familiar. I saw this yesterday when I was casting Open Division. I may see a boost from Purple, but I mean, overall, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we'll see how these two teams go at each other here on City Center.
Okay. Just gonna have ZX on the Symmetra just for a second, just so they can get out there. And now onto the Tracer. This is a little more familiar. Sometimes we saw the Ashe or, the McCree to handle flanking DPSs, so unfortunately no real hit scan to speak of for this Pharah, but that being said, they are double shield. Spam damage is nice and all, but we'll see if they can get any value here, as the Mercy will just be kind of healing everybody. AV going down is actually pretty big, so the Genji can now sort of run freely amongst its brethren and just sort of go ahead and take things out in the backline if they want to take advantage of that. However, they're sort of just holding at the point here, just seeing if they can flip it over and start building a percentage, but now they know that they can't, because now they're here on the point, they're here to stay on the boosted Boiis, so Inferno needs to start making some moves here if they really want to get this all the way. It's just that ever so close to it. So now, breaking the shields, going through it, Azio will just go ahead and get ready to drop some serious blade damage once they're at there. They're like 25% away. Pulse Bomb's not going to be dropped. They're going to be going down. McCree, there's the barrage as well. Manic was able to build it up thanks to the Mercy, and that should wrap it up nice and neatly, Ocean.
Yeah, definitely interesting first fight to see both these teams going for the more typical and more stable double shield composition. I would like to see one of the teams at least opt for the dive composition, try to play around the high ground on this map. There is definitely a lot of the high ground, and definitely that first fight was just a race to see who builds up the big power ultimate first. Would it be Manic's Barrage or to be AOZ's Dragon Blade? And it was the Barrage, and that Barrage was their key to winning the fight for the side of boosted Boiis.
Oh, for sure. When you're getting rain from above, and like you said, projectiles in general are just super strong. Pulse Bomb gets eaten. Speaking of projectiles, oh, the bomb does get eaten. It does have a hitbox, so obviously it will get sucked up by the Sigma. Big stuff from Star, allowing them to keep up the momentum. That being said, Manic does go down, but the Deadeye will be able to find Nigel. Oh my goodness, okay. Window was dropped at least, but I don't know if they'll find anything helpful. Herbal will try to stabilize and see if they can get any momentum with this rally. Seem to be alright as they allow a lot of armor for Azio to just blade them out of existence.
Yeah, just a supercharger on both of those DPS, getting onto the correct targets. We saw ZX kill AV vaccinations in the backline. That means that there's no flashbang for the Genji to get stunned by, and then in comes the Dragon Blade, still with the supercharger online. They're able to execute it perfectly and get the kills. However, that supercharger is online now for boosted Boiis as they want to come back in.
Heck of a lot of ultimates used though, so now going into this, they are going to need to be wary that boosted Boiis, they have a lot of things in the wings. Speaking specifically in the wings, Manic's Barrage is just right around the corner thanks to that Mercy, and here it goes. It might be dropped right now. Immortality Field prioritized, nicely done, but a dash will go in, get Manic, but the damage has already been done, and they will just flip it right back around. And it seems to be a little bit of a seesaw going on with the ultimates, Ocean.
Yeah, just two ultimates used for the side of boosted Boiis. That's all they need to flip the point back around. And now they have control of this space and control of this point with the Pharah. And that pick on the AOZ isn't going to do Inferno any good, as they now have a little bit less time off the clock, technically speaking, as they're out of control. Oh, never mind! ZX gets a kill as they look to engage on this point.
Oh, the TNT as well! Are you kidding me? This is absolutely insane, the amount of AoE. Good swap onto the Ashe, already doing some serious value right here to flip back things on the point. Sometimes it's not about building up the ultimates quickly, it's just countering your opponents. And again, these TNTs are so nasty. Projectiles, we've stated again, are super strong against console just because of the mobility. It's not as strong as it would be on PC. So here we go, 99%. Will he be able to flip it back over? Nigel going down is not what you want to see if you're on the side of Inferno. Here comes a blade though. And also, it seems to be going down quite well. Azio tried to get some value on that blade, but didn't seem to go down. Bob will come down, try to contest a little bit, but it might be all for naught. They try to rest, but I don't know if they're going to be able to follow through. It seems like everything is just kind of falling apart right here for the side of Inferno. And boosted Boiis, I think we can safely say, will take this map at one point or the other.
Yeah, Inferno just need to get their act together, play a little bit less messy. Barrage got to come in for boosted Boiis, and I think this fight's just going to be over. It's just a case of when this fight is over.
Yeah, there we go. style on him, drop the dead eye. I mean, overall, it was a good attempt with the switch onto the Ash, but what do you think made it fall apart for them? Because it seemed like they had good momentum for a second.
It's just that one fight where Booster Boys just kind of rolled over them. Inferno didn't use any of their ultimates, and only two ultimates used for Booster Boys to flip the point back over, gain control of the space, gain control of the point with that Pharah. It's really difficult to push into a Pharah, whereas you're offending with the Pharah, it's a lot more lot more controllable when you're against it. So just a difficult matchup, and it looks like we're now going to see Farah McCree versus Farah McCree. And this is something I actually really want to see from Inferno, because Aozi's been really strong on that Farah, and Parable as well on the Mercy is a great pick. And another thing I quickly want to draw attention to is Mini Soul Reaver on the Orisa. That's not one of Mini Soul Reaver's typical heroes. When I think Mini Soul Reaver, I think of back in triple DPS meta when he was on the Widowmaker, paired up with NGL on the Farah and Z Mighty's on the Ash. That was a DPS trio and a half.
Oh, I'm sure it was, but I mean, at the moment, it seems like it was quite the Pharah duel that we saw outside of Widows, getting going projectiles, and again, Gardens is a good place for Pharah. Maybe try to get some environmental picks. We're going to see the res come on, and Manic will not be able to exact their revenge because their teammate helped them along with it. Now, the barrage race is going to be won by the side of Boosted Boys, and right now, it seems like their coordination is very strong. Set up a little crossfire thanks to the Sigma. Just throwing it down here and holding on to the high ground as well as AV. So this is really nice stuff. Good damage being dealt all around, and Boosted Boys locking down this site once more.
I want to sort of draw the viewer's attention here to ZX Levi on the McCree at 38%, 41% now to the Deadeye. And AV, who's had the high ground that entire fight, has the Deadeye online already. So big difference between the McCrees due to the decision from Booster Boys just to go straight for that high ground and give space to their DPS and help their McCree win the duel against the Farah.
So, Ravitic Flux coming out, and I mean, the McCree is super strong and is super helpful, and that Deadeye will basically shut down the pharmacy's value. So they need to kind of stay low to the ground or target prioritize very quickly. Here comes the barrage, at least finds one, but the shield will be able to deflect it enough and do enough damage. Deadeye's gone, actually, so this is actually a good opening potentially for our friends on Inferno to try to bring things back up. They just need to get a couple of picks before they start pushing in a little bit more. Deadeye will come out. They managed to take it down, but they managed to find the Mercy. So now Manic is all by themselves. Not going to be able to have any healing, but it seems like they don't need to worry about that as they just stay behind the shield relatively. And everything seems to be, once again, won by the Boosted Boys just by the sheer amount of coordination.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that fight went from so, like, winnable for the side of Inferno. They got a really nice Hulk Flux combo, forced out the barrage, got rid of the 4, and they were 1-up because they got that Resurrect off from Parvo. And it looked like they were just going to win that fight pretty cleanly. They were up by 1, they got rid of one of the opposition ultimates. It just didn't go that way. And Boosted Boys were able to turn it back.
It seems like they're pretty boosted right now. Speaking of which, Mini Soul Reaver does have the Supercharger up, but already 3 go down before I could even say anything. I think all I can say is that the weather is really nice in Gardens Ocean. Back to you.
Yeah, I think this fight's going to be over. I think this map is pretty much over. They do have the Supercharger on the barrage, but they can't even touch the point. Inferno looking really poor for our #1 seed, and Boosted Boys continuing their momentum from yesterday.
Yeah, well, sometimes seeds don't matter. It just comes down to the actual skill and level of play. And you did say that Boosted Boys was sort of the Goliath of this matchup, and I think you're safe to say it after a 2-0 like that. Very convincing stuff. I think, it was alt management that was really big there, like you stated before as well, and then astutely correct. But do you think there was anything else on top of that, or was it really just mainly the alts?
Well, their ultimate management was just better than than Inferno's. Let's be real; it was a lot better. They didn't even get a barrage off to Inferno in that second round of Garden, so not something we usually see. He's usually really, really comfortable on that forest, so that's definitely a surprise. And then it just looked off. Banksy's usually such a super clean Orisa player. We did see some nice hold combos, but nothing too spectacular, other than maybe building that supercharger pretty quickly in the first round. But also, Mini Soul Reaver doesn't look like too bad of an Orisa on the other side. As I said previously, I do not really associate Mini Soul Reaver and Orisa. I usually associate the Widowmaker with Mini Soul Reaver. But Inferno just got bested in that first map, and Boosted Boys, as I said that yesterday, they upset the Oblivion team, and they're continuing that momentum today, and they are destroying Inferno so far here in this series.
Well, it's the first map, so let's give Inferno the benefit of the doubt at least, so that way we can at least say that we still have a series on our hands. But yeah, it was a very convincing win overall. And it looks like their counter pick is going to be Junkertown. Interesting call, I would say, just because the first phase of the map is a little bit tricky because we saw Boosted Boys take advantage of a wide range area. If we think back onto city center and gardens, they are the more wider open of the maps, not very you can flank, you can do a bunch of crazy stuff. There's a lot of room for different play styles than University. So going to Junkertown, why do you think this is Inferno's pick?
Well, yeah, you're right in saying they lost the matchup in the more open space map of City Center in particular before. However, Inferno are extremely good at the double sniper composition. And this is sniper time.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so they played this in our first stream matchup of Xbox console. And they dominated. They 3-0'd, I think, Synergy X it was. And they were absolutely insane at the double sniper composition. Aozi was really instrumental in that, breaking all those shields on the Hanzo pick. And looks like ZX is going to be taking the Widowmaker. So I feel like this is a really good map for them. They were really consistent at that double sniper composition. I feel like this is the best pick for them to get back in this series because the rules here at GitGud, or if you lose the previous map, you get to pick the next one. And whoever won the previous map gets to attack or defend first. So waiting on that call shortly.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I am excited to see how the double sniper works out. That being said, though, like what would be the double sniper comp? I'm imagining Ash Hanzo, but like even then with the double sniper comp, it just feels inadequate when you're going up against double shield because even nerfs or buffs or anything aside, two shields that can be rotated and juggled easily is very difficult to overcome.
Yeah, so what I remember previously is they just run the Widow Home. So what they are extremely good is just piercing shields. Purple will usually give a damage boost over the AOZ near the start of the fights, and they'll just break the shields. And then ZX will then later on take it like sort of an off angle. Purple will then give the damage boost over to the Widowmaker, and it's kind of an open shooting range from there. That's how they like to play the double shield before. So that's going to be interesting in this matchup. It looks like we have some subs for the side of Boosted Boys. We see SF Ninja, who is a more associated main tank player, could probably play a little bit more than just the Orisa. So a lot of different options for Boosted Boys on that main tank role now. And they're also substitution for Inferno. Nigel Farage getting subbed out for one big bot, which kind of leads me to think they might be playing a little bit more Ana here instead of the Baptiste. Nigel Farage known for their Lucio and Baptiste, whereas one big bot more known for the Ana. So I feel like that's what we're going to see as Inferno will attack first.
Let's see. They are swapping sides, so we'll see if that's the case to be. I assume so, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm also assuming that with the swap buff that you mentioned, that potentially with also the Ana, this could be like a death ball composition or a dive. Because sometimes you run Ana with a dive, and dive could be pretty good here if you're dealing with a lot of high ground.
Yeah, I could actually see Booster Boys going for some sort of dive composition. SF Ninja was really, really strong on the Winston yesterday on Legion Garden against Oblivion, going up against a very strong tank line of Bird and Lad. And I think Clemens was the off tank in that map in particular. So definitely SF Ninja is very strong at the Winston. So if they do go for that composition, I wouldn't be surprised. But I kind of just expect double shield, double sniper, mirror matchup here. I want to see what Inferno can do. Can they do what they did from last time? I remember some of their combos. They were really good at using Infrasight and Sonic Arrow for big Dragon Strike combos where they didn't even need to use the Holt. They can use the Holt for other things. So they were using Sonic Arrows and Infrasight to portray where other hit scans were. But not only that, like people who were maybe a bit out of position, they would just throw a Dragon Strike at them. So we'll see if Inferno can bring back the form from previous in the season. But if they don't, I think Booster Boys have a severe advantage in the series. They've got the momentum, and they have looked hella clean as well. They also won Junkertown yesterday, so Boosted
Oh,
Boys have a bit of an advantage here, I think.
this is very strange. I mean, you may as well just done Lijiang at that point if you're going to do mentality like that, because you said Lijiang was a very strong map for Boosted Boys as well, and you're giving them another map that's strong. Okay, I guess I don't know. I I don't know what to say except that this is going to be interesting to see if Inferno. It may be a very clear stomp. Is this first to 4 or first to 3?
It is first to 3 here at our GitGud
Whoa.
Grand Finals.
Okay, so I mean, if this is a comfortable map for Boosted Boys, then this is going to be potentially a stomp altogether.
Yeah, definitely possible. I mean, Boosted Boys, I mean, I expected them. I didn't expect them to be casting them today. I thought they were going to be like to Oblivion. I underestimated them going into yesterday, but they fully surprised me taking down Oblivion, who have a lot of star names if you think of the EU ladder on their team, and they have also really good communication on the side of Oblivion. So I was in their party yesterday listening to them, and yeah, no, Oblivion are solid team, but Boosted Boys 3-0'd them yesterday, and as I said, they're continuing the momentum here today, and they take the first map against Inferno, who've been pretty dominant this season, and I'm here at Junkertown, where it is probably Inferno's strongest map. They are extremely good at the double sniper composition. However, with the momentum Boosted Boys have from yesterday and today in this series, and the fact they won Junkertown yesterday, this could go either way, but I am leaning towards Boosted Boys.
I still, yeah, I mean, after just one map, but again, I can't really say too much just because this is the first match I'm seeing from this console side. But I mean, honestly, Boosted look very well coordinated, and I'm not saying Inferno didn't as well, but it did seem like they were overwhelmed a lot of the times and not really sure what they were prioritizing, whether to secure the point or where to basically guarantee that they could win the team fight. But we can stop buying time now, Ocean. We are actually going to get into the game, and we're going to actually see if our theories are proven correctly. Boosted Boys in theory should be able to win this map, as this is in their favor, even though it is technically Inferno's counterpick. But we'll have to wait and see what it all comes down to. Will it be the double sniper DPS? Have to wait and find out.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that at least Inferno will go for the double sniper unless I've got some weird Ash Tracer look. Apparently I can't say Tracer. They've got an Ash Tracer look that we have seen from some teams on this map, despite Widowmaker having the clear sniper advantage in the hit schedule on this map. I've seen a lot of teams just go and harass backlines as Tracer and create a lot of space for Dynamite and as an ability just to pop off. So we will find out if we have any different looks, but I am firmly expecting just the double shield. With the double sniper.
Okay. It's double sniper DPS. It is the Ash Hanzo, as I was suspecting. Not really surprised here. Yeah, I mean, this seems pretty straightforward. I'm curious about the Mercy, maybe, as you already have damage boost coming in from the Orisa, and you'd much rather maybe, I don't know, a Brig if somebody tries to dive onto the high ground to get that stun. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Mercy, Greylotz has been pretty strong in the Mercy this series. However, Greylotz is insane at a lot of other squad heroes like Ana. I think I see Greylotz on Zen do a lot of work as well. However, gonna go for the Mercy, and we are gonna see a double shield from the offense. However, it's not the Widowmaker Hanzo, it's the Widowmaker Ash.
Okay, well, Widowmaker, I'm still surprised about either way, but we'll see if they can set up a good crossfire. The map is wide open, as we have stated before, so they can potentially find some picks here and there if they just go around the corner, just go the long way around. But at the moment, seems like Inferno still doing fine, doesn't really matter. Here comes the first sniper duel, but they will disengage very quickly unless they run into a Sigma. What is it doing there? It found something. Purple will go down as well. It seems like Boosted Boys already throwing the yams off of Inferno, but they need to engage this fight. They will do so. The Sigma, I have seen many flanking different heroes, but I've never seen a flanking Sigma right now that is causing so much trouble for the side of Inferno.
Yeah, so, Inferno is just going to back off here. Orisa's a little bit out of position, however. They can reset pretty effectively, although with Star is getting so many kills on that Sigma. They're just going to have to back off and reset for now.
Well, yeah, they have to disengage. And at the moment, though, they have been charging up ultimates. To be fair to them, they will be falling back though. But I mean, looking at this, ultimate side is definitely in favor for Boosted Boys. But do you think they can come back from this, or do you think they need to swap here on the side of Inferno?
I feel like Inferno, once they get that Widowmaker in position, they will be fine. However, it's getting that Widowmaker in position and making sure Star can't read where ZX is going, because Star knew exactly what angle ZX wanted to take, because it's the exact same angle that they took on Widowmaker, but the last time I think they were streamed. So, I mean, not showing too much creativity, but here comes the Flux.
Flux comes out. I mean, they are able to find a couple of players. The res will come in, so Star will be back into the fight, and with also a Gravitic Flux if they so desire. They do need to touch the payload at some point, though. It would be nice. They still have teams that need to play, but the picks are coming in from the snipers. They need to contest right now, and they only have the tanks at the moment to help out with this. And, I mean, it looks like ZX, the Widowmaker, will just basically lock this down for the team. And Inferno, little scrappy fights here and there, but they managed to get it across the finish line.
I'd be interested to see the damage stats from both of these Sigmas. They both have a pretty good understanding of the hero, and actually the crossfire that Sigma can produce. Because Sigma, once you get an off angle on Sigma, you can use Hyper Surge, bouncing off walls. Hyper Surge is a very versatile projectile where you can bounce it off walls, you just do spam direct damage into shields. And both of them are actually using Sigma pretty correctly. Not even some Overwatch League Sigmas, that's a nice rock, will understand Sigma's crossfire, but they're taking the off angles, they're getting the damage, and they're building those Gravitic Fluxes really quickly.
Oh, and the hull too with the TNT was so massive, so much damage, and here comes the Bob as well. Obviously, Boosted Boys stopping the momentum of any kind that was there. And here we go, Star is also on the high ground, just ready to do any damage, setting up the crossfires, pretty much guaranteeing that they've stopped this push at the very least.
Yeah, if I remember correctly from what I saw yesterday, or what I heard yesterday, Boosted Boys were extremely good at controlling this high ground. Oblivion were unable to take this Junkertown point B high ground off of them, so that might be dangerous for the side of Inferno as they lose ZX immediately.
ZX, again, I don't know how much I'm too big of a fan of the Widowmaker versus a Hanzo, but I will let bygones be bygones and not harp on it too much. At least on the other side, Azo has a Bob, but I mean, again, it is on high ground, so I don't know how much the Bob can get, value, but we'll see. The TNTs are definitely doing a good job, getting a lot of tags. They have the Bob ready, but I mean, on the other side, Manic getting closer to that Bob once more again. They are pushing the payload slowly, but they are really guaranteeing very slow movement. Bob might actually get Star, though, unless they can get the Gravitic Flux out in time. They managed to survive. The teammates actually helping out. Good coordination here. The halted the Bob onto the payload to get and guarantee cover. And looking pretty good, but Gravitic Flux might finally lock this down. Inferno may get it. They're in the back of a corner. Manic will be able to drop the Bob, so that's at least a lot of pressure onto the shield. He might be able to lock it down here, and it looks like Boosted Boys, again, will be able to win out the fight. Nice disengage. It's been a bit of a tango with them.
Yeah, weird fight there. However, Boosted Boys do come out on top, and I have to question, Inferno have the Valkyrie, the Supercharger, online. They could have definitely used those ultimates just to clean up the fight. And one thing that I have noticed from Inferno is they're being very slow. They are the offending team, and even if there is a long team fight, you should be fine with that if you're Boosted Boys, because you're draining that time bank, and this is Escort, where you're defending first. As long as you're draining that time bank, you can set up win conditions to win the map later on. AOZ going down doesn't help, and that's another 10 or so seconds off the clock, and when they're playing this slow game, it's just fighting so well for Boosted Boys. They'll take slow fights all day, every day as the time bank drains. And I would like to see Inferno just use their ultimates, use that Matrix aggressively. As soon as you get it, break those shields, and then try and take an off angle with your Ash. Try and get that damage in there. Put some pressure onto the Boosted Boys line.
I 100% agree with you. I think they do need to speed up. If you're going to go into a fight, commit to it. Don't make it too long, because you even to have 4 minutes in the time bank, it still needs a lot. Here comes the Pulse Bomb. Gets 2. That's using ultimates right there. That's what you were looking for, Ocean. And now they do have the opening. Ezio does go down, though. They can't drop the bomb. And Manic is 5% away from their Bob, so Boosted Boys might be able to lock this down once again. They don't even need to drop it. 10 seconds remaining. This, I believe, is all they wrote on the side of Inferno.
They do have the supercharger online. Banksy is still around on the point, gets the supercharger down, but I think it's too late. Should have been used ages ago.
Yeah, it was just trying to find that opening. I think Inferno desperately trying to find the right moments to drop the ultimates, but once in a while, you just kind of got to press Q and hope for the best, and it works out for you usually. They will be able to swap onto a stagger, but I don't know what value they can find from this. The Wrecking Ball is about to go down. The Wick is just going to go down faster every time, and that is going to be the push. So, at the very least, they have a little bit of wiggle room to work with on the side of Inferno in their defense. And you said they're more of a defense team, so mayhaps this could be just much like a Gibraltar where you get it past car wash, but, you know, and then you fully defend it. It could be one of those.
Yeah, I mean, all
escort
maps.
Half glass full.
Yeah, I mean, all escort maps have this usually like a big wide open section where the defenders, DPS just get so much space automatically just by coming off of spawn, and that's a really difficult corner usually for any team to deal with. Junkertown has it, Rialto has it, Havana has it, and Route 66 less so. But most of these escort maps do have that instant space for the DPS coming back off of spawn, and that's an advantage that the side of Inferno will have now. However, as we saw yesterday, they're so good at controlling that high ground on the side of Boosted Boys. They controlled it the entire game, but Inferno, now I kind of have to point some fingers. I have to point a finger at Banksy, who held that supercharger 2 winnable fights in a row. They were 2 up. The Mercy and the Ash were both down, so main damage source and realistically, the main resource for anyone on that team is the Mercy. If anyone wants more damage, Mercy gives it to them. 2 critical components of the Boosted Boys composition was down, and they just didn't commit. They didn't go in, and they just lost the fight. And they had that critical tool on the supercharger twice, and they just didn't use it. So I'm going to be pointing the finger at Banksy here.
All right, well, certainly is going to be something to pay attention to see how quickly they use your ultimates, because sometimes you do need to just use it to get the cycle going. You can't leave it for too stagnant for too long. But I'll stop on harping with them. But we're going to go into this. ZX able to find a pick right off the bat, which is really nice. However, Inferno backing away every time, just kind of giving a lot of room here for the Boosted Boys. But ZX, I'm really glad to see them starting to pop off on this Widow and find some value here. I was a little bit concerned, but hey, I didn't need to be concerned after all. Just got to give them a moment to just get ready. And it looks like at the moment, Boosted Boys are going to be slowed down just a little bit.
Yeah, the problem wasn't necessarily ZX's Widowmaker play. The problem was mainly they couldn't get that space for them to use that wide open silence. I think that's a nice kill on Manic. But Manic will get rezzed up. But the problem was they couldn't get the space, those long sight lines that you want on Widowmaker on this point. But now they automatically have them with the defender's advantage. It's so much easier for that Widowmaker.
It is, and I mean, this is also very interesting as well. They already have the ultimate, and they have the sights ready. Manic, who's been infamous for getting this this Bob ready on online, has been having a little bit of trouble, and now for the first time, we're seeing Azio winning this race, actually. Already going to have the Bob right now. Gets Manic again. Manic has been having a hard time, but AV! Oh, they shoot him off the head. But here we go. Manic being res back up, could potentially get back the Bob. But the Bob is able to come back finally. They will be able to drop it. So Boosted Boys may just bait out these ultimates, disengage, and go back. Oh, they do destroy the Bob, but it's still getting more value here for the side of Inferno. They're rocking it right now. I'm really digging this defense.
Yeah, they just automatically have the sightlines for both their DPS, and those DPS are taking advantage. I think they're going to want that Gravitic Flux, Black, as they didn't really need it. Just give them a little bit of time, but nothing much else. And when you have a big power ultimate like that, and that ultimate bank builds up for Boosted Boys, you're going to want that ultimate.
They are. They're stacking it up right now. Here we go. I mean, they should be just dropping everything at the moment. Bob will come out. It is coming from a distance, though. It went across the map, so it's only going to be really focusing on only some of the things. Doesn't have that great of line of sight, but it was able to get the Widowmaker. Fair enough. Get the res back on to Manic. Still keeping on the fire pressure. Window will come out, and it looks like they finally will be able to get the payload across to the point. But I will say, good time burning coming in from Inferno.
Yeah, Inferno, they do burn a little bit off the clock, but we're seeing a different problem this time. And again, it is with the ultimates. Last round, we saw Bigsy hold on to that supercharger way too long, but this time, a little bit over eager to use that gravitic flux was DZ, and that means they will not have that for that last fight, where it was kind of just whichever team used more ultimates in that last fight won. And I do want to point out that hilarious Bob kill that Manic got on ZX, because it went so far away and it just caught ZX off guard when he was looking for that off angle. And there goes the kills as we see Inferno hold on this high ground like Boiis like to do. So we'll see if they'll have an opportunity to take them off this high ground.
Ooh, well, at the moment, it doesn't seem to be like they'll have an opportunity to push this payload. Their only pusher was now eliminated and deleted. Very nicely done there. And honestly, this is going to be interesting to see overall if they can deal with the pressure. I mean, it seems like the crossfire is working out very well for them. And ZX on defense has been a very good Widowmaker.
Yeah, he has all this space, all this long sideline, automatically doesn't have to work too hard for it, and their team can just devote less resources to that, sorry. So that means that their Widowmaker just gets a lot of more automatic value, but it is up to him, sorry, to hit the shots, and he is hitting the shots. But one thing I would like to point out is Star on this Sigma is really good at just taking these off angles, but I want to see them tighten it up a little bit. They seem to be going a little bit too wide for this crossfire. Now, you do need to go and take that off angle on that Sigma to maximize the damage. However, just a little bit too much. You stay a little closer together so you can get maximum value out of cooldowns like Kinetic Grasp and even just your shield. So we'll see how that goes, and if they can adapt that later on.
We'll see. I mean, they definitely need to either prioritize winning the team fight or pushing the payload. And it does feel like they are trying to multitask here. And that may be where Inferno's been able to take this advantage. Because, like you said, they have been going wide and they do focus on trying to take this fight. But unfortunately, they will go down. Azo, it's been able to just... I mean, honestly, these sniper DPS has been able to deny value for Manic. And they've just been dominating right now.
Yeah, ultimates are going to be even next fight, though. So this next fight is going to basically decide the rest of the pacing of the entirety of Jungle Zone, depending on what ultimates get used from either side. But I do want to go back to that Sigma matchup. DZ, I actually feel, has been just playing a little bit more of a spam Sigma. I think it's too spammy. I feel like they need to be getting a little wider and getting a little bit more of the hypersphere damage in and just playing around those off angles. However, Star's doing the opposite. It's going too wide. And both these Sigmas are looking extremely good, but definitely things they can improve on their play.
They're definitely beating to their own drum, that's for sure. I think maybe Star is influencing DZ a little bit. Star's been going for these crazy flanks, not really staying with the team all that much. And I feel like DZ's like, anything you can do, I can do better. Speaking of which, the Gravitic Flux come out. The Immortality Field is down. They wipe them out once again. 30 seconds remaining. The time has gone, and I don't even know where it went! Oh my gosh, why would you even go for that res? Here we go, big swap onto here, and there's ultimates. There's at least one ultimate ready. Ocean, what do they got to do here?
I do have the Supercharger, which is a massive ultimate. Supercharger had the highest teamfight win percentage of Overwatch League Season 2 with an ultimate. However, they have to get to the point, they have to face these snipers to even touch and have a chance of winning the snap, and AOZ has the Bob.
You do have the Bob. He goes down. AV goes down as well. So no chance to charge it up. Manic is going on the Genji. Little too soon, too late. I like the idea, though. You gotta pressure these long-range DPSs. Otherwise, they're just gonna go like this! Destroying one player after another. And Inferno, my goodness gracious me, it did come down to that defense. You're absolutely right, Ocean. They will tie up the series right here, right now.
Yeah, I really liked how they played that Widowmaker comp on the defense. They did it before against Synergy X, but this time it was the same story, and I'm surprised it was the same story considering Star was going so wide and making sure that ZX couldn't get those angles when Inferno were on the offense. However, this time it just seemed like a little bit of a misplay from Star. We'd like to see him a bit tighter, but again, still taking those off angles. And DZ, I want to see the same from a little less tight, though. So we'll see if the Sigmas can adapt to the sniper play that's going on. But we'll see. I was really impressed with ZX on the defense because they were just able to hit those shots with all the space they had, just coming off of that natural defender's advantage. So super impressive from them to get back in this series. But now, Boosted Boys will have their map pick.
They will, and they will potentially also have match point as well. I think, though, it was really convincing, honestly, the defense. I had high hopes for it. I think, honestly, though, I'm concerned about the attack just because it didn't feel like they entirely knew what they wanted to do. But I think Boosted Boys also, there was a level of confidence. I think that confidence got to them because they definitely were looking like a team that was trying to do more than they could actually do. Biting off a little more they could chew, just getting into a situation where they were trying to win the team fight, but also push the payload at the same time. And it doesn't really work in Overwatch. You got to prioritize what the win condition is for you in that team fight.
Yeah, so we'll see if Boost Boys can adapt to making those win conditions. But that is something that Inferno are good at. They're really, really good at just deciding what their win condition is. And I said that before, like they were running like weird Widow Hanzo comps and they were using Infrasight to get a good Dragon Strike off. They are really good at maximizing the value out of genuinely considered poor ultimates and even just cooldowns like Sonic Arrow. They were extremely good at getting value out of that cooldown. Now, they are really good at sending at win conditions. However, mechanically, I feel like Boosted Boys have looked a little bit better. And if Inferno aren't winning with their win conditions, Boosted Boys will turn this back on our head. But I really think that if Boosted Boys get a win condition and get a plan set up for each and every fight, they will look a lot better because it kind of just looks like, oh, we've got ultimates, let's use them, right? Instead of, which is the big ultimate to use.
We'll just have to wait and see. And we'll wait and see after a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to see who goodness get this match point soon. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Xbox Grand Final of Get Good. Excuse me, can't talk today. It's okay. It's just morning for some folks here over in the cross the pond. Anyways, it is the Get Good Xbox EU Final, the Grand Finals. It is a series. We do actually have a series on our hand, Ocean. It is 1-1, and now we're gonna find out who's getting match point through Boosted Boys counter pick.
Yeah, Boosted Boys are taking us, well, to where we actually are. We are taking us to King's Row. So King's Row is a map that's pretty good for both of these teams. Boosted Boys won this map yesterday. And I believe the last time we saw Inferno on stream, we actually saw them beat Synergy X on King's Row as well. And we are seeing similar substitutions. We're going to see Nigel Farage come back in to play the Lucio for Purple, who is traditionally just a sort of the mercy player of the team, the sacrificial lamb, if you will. But we'll see Nigel Farage come in to probably play Lucio, and they'll probably run some sort of Honor Lucio or Lucio Meyer composition on the side of Inferno. Boosted Boys are probably going to run something similar, but with the Ryan Zarya, but we'll wait and see. As well as Boosted Boys have also made a substitution of their own. Mini Soul Reaver is coming back in, but on DPS this time, so no more Mini Soul Reaver for everyone to enjoy. We will see Mini Soul Reaver coming on DPS for Manic.
Fantastic. I love knowing that both of these teams won this map because honestly, everybody's won at this map at some point. I mean, King's Row has been pretty much just like Scrim's Row. So
yeah,
everybody knows this map from top to bottom, but it is very much the Dragon Ball of King's of Overwatch maps because you can just imagine it just being very back and forth for multiple episodes, and then and then one person discovers level 4 of whatever the heck they have, and then they just absolutely obliterate them out of the park. So we'll see who discovers Super Saiyan God 4 in themselves. Will it be Inferno? Will it be Boosted Boys? We're about to find out who gets match point right here, starting on the defense, and I assume we'll be seeing some double shields here, Ocean.
Yeah, it's gonna be either double shields or Ryan Zarya. I hope that both of these teams can give us some Ryan Zarya, but I suspect it's gonna be the double shield, and we will see Inferno attack first yet again. They won when they attacked first on Junkertown. So let's see if it helps them out again here on King's Row. You talked about King's Row, just kind of in Scrim's Row. Everyone loves King's Row. It is a fantastic Overwatch map. Not my favorite Overwatch map, but it is a fantastic Overwatch map, and I like what I see on the Inferno offense. I hope they go for the Zarya Winston composition. This would severely excite me. I would like to see them go for the Zenyatta instead of the Baptiste. The Baptiste is a more consistent pick. However, the Baptiste ultimate doesn't carry as much value for one, and they're just better me anyway. They're not
it's a tax spawn, so you never know. But we can guarantee what is 100% accurate is the defense. So looking at this, doesn't seem too different. Guess Greg really feels that mercy still, huh?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so both of these teams running some double shield compositions. No, they didn't like my dreams of the Ryan Zarya, and both of these teams will be running the more traditional, more standard comp for the moment.
You're going for the meta. Ugh, interesting. Anyways, it is about to go into it. Minnesota River already has to be rezzed back up by Greg. We'll see if healing and damage boost will help out. I mean, Binsky going down. Pretty massive, actually. They may be able to hold this. And Boosted Boys, it's not very common nowadays to see the first defense to be usually held successfully, but they have done it.
Yeah, so Boosted Boys look pretty bad there at the start of the fight when Minnesota River gets taken down by the whip shot, which not only means that they'll lose their Ash, but it also means Angel Farage does get the Inspire, which means a lot more healing for the offense. However, Binksy going down after the Resurrect, and they were able to bring that fight back. However, Gregalas gets destroyed trying to res at Minnesota River.
Okay. Well, first tick will go down, second one as well, guaranteed. It seems like they were able to burn a little time off the time bank, but it's not big if you lose this point right away. It's kind of almost like Temple of Anubis. You get point A, who cares? Get it out of the way. So now, going into this, they do have quite a bit of ultimates. It seems pretty even, Steven. But do you think the boosted boys will be able to stop them at choke? The infamous one, that is.
Yeah, can they get up to that archway is the question. I don't think they'll be able to. So it looks like a little bit of progress handed over to Inferno but for free. And most importantly, they get through that archway choke, which is so difficult to get around. However, Inferno looking pretty good so far in this map. They have managed to nullify many Soul Reaver on the Ash, known more for their hit get abilities than the Orisa we saw earlier. So that's pretty impressive from them.
It is. We'll see how it goes. Bob already going down right away. Boosted Boys might be able to actually hold them at the archway, as they've already taken quite a couple of important picks. I mean, ZX denied the blade just a little bit longer. It's pretty big. So now they're dropping the Dragon Strike, and they kind of have to regroup here. As long as Boosted Boy doesn't overexert ultimates, they can burn quite a bit of time and do a little bit of back and forth here. And that's what they're intending to do. They will be able to grab Flux, but they drop the Immortality Field stabilized right now. Nicely done from Ziat. I don't even know how to pronounce that name, but here we go. Blade comes out. ZX gets dropped down to smack to the ground. Gravity was mightier than the sword this time. However, it's still very much in the favor for our friends on Inferno. The Supercharger now being dropped. Binsky being a lot more encouraged to use it, for sure, as they will go ahead and lock it down. I'd say this was a relatively successful push, and they are surviving the ultimates. I said they go down right away, but they pushed it pretty far here, Ocean.
Yeah, they did get a lot of cart progress, but they used so many ultimates to do that. They used the Gravitic Flux, the Dragon Blade, the Supercharger, the Amplification Matrix, and the Rally, all for it get destroyed by SF Ninja's Orisa's ultimate and Supercharger, and AV Rex Nations using the Dragon Strike. So they don't really get too much value for the ultimates, but they do get some cart progress. So a win-win or win-lose situation for the offense. However, they will come again here on King's Row.
We'll keep pushing. Window will shut them down, though. Just so much power coming in from there and being utilized with the Orisa. Very nicely done. They will have to fall back, but they have some ultimates coming online soon on the side of Inferno.
I want to bring attention to the compositions. Brigitte, it is the better pick, factually, in this composition to have the Brigitte, but you have to get that Inspire up. You have to be getting value out of those cooldowns. And Ninja Forge isn't getting value out of those cooldowns, so just the Mercy damage boost is getting a little bit more value than the Brigitte should be. And then, yeah, I mean, they're using that Mercy to a supreme advantage or the side of Boosted Boys.
Yeah, at the moment, they have a good cycle of ball side of Boosted Boys as well. Bob will come out, though. I think it might be finally the little extra push that they need. Drop the window through the Bob as well. It might be pretty huge. Yeah, AV goes down. This could be finally it. Star, again, the lone Sigma sort of goes out and does their own thing. Leave this team in this situation, and I feel like they were a little all over the place here. Boosted Boys and Inferno definitely took advantage of this and will be able to get it across to the second stage at this point.
Yeah, Inferno utilizing that fight pretty well, despite the small ultimate advantage that Boosted Boys had. Boosted Boys will be going over to the Baptiste break. They're going over to the more consistent competition. So it'll be interesting to see, now that both Brigitte sort of have their ultimate economies reset, which of them builds that rally first, which of them gets that Inspire up in the fight and supplies that healing to their team.
So the healing is certainly now pretty even for the most part. No rally is going to come online soon, as both have been used. I think it's also a bit of a race for that Bob as well. We'll see if Dragon Strike, though, does get Binsky. They have to fall back here, Inferno. They just can't push it without having a Supercharger or an extra shield.
One thing I would like to point out is Banksy is being a lot more aggressive with their Superchargers this round, which is definitely an improvement on their offense on Jungle Time, as you remember. Them not using the Supercharger did cost them that. Geji versus Honzo, brotherly duel on the high ground. It was a little bit awkward for both teams. Keep all 6 of their members alive as they go into this next fight.
A lot of ultimates online for both sides as well, so see the first one come out. Gravitic Flux, Immortality Field will be taken out, but here comes the Supercharge. Gravitic Flux from that as well. might stop Inferno dead in their tracks. Boosted Boys, but in the corner though, they're going to be absolutely destroyed. It's like putting a potato masher in a pot and destroying everything and squishing it to the ground. Looks like Inferno has locked this push down with a minute and 30 in the time bank.
And we're just able to build up their ultimates and poke so much better with their DPS comp, which is confusing because usually that Alfonso composition is so good at just poking from range, getting picks, but they were just able to build their ultimates and then they just pressed the Y button. Every single one of them just pressed their ultimate buttons. They got the kills, and they will set a time bank and capture all 3 points of King's Row and put the pressure on Boosted Boys, who were leading this series, in control of this series, but let it go on Junkertown, let Inferno back in, and now you have to say Inferno firmly in control, and now looking like the favourite to take the series.
Potentially. You can't really get ego to you, Ocean. It's going to throw your yams off, and if you're overconfident, it will be a downfall. Pride is everyone's downfall. But we'll see how it goes for them. I am interested, of course, to see. It is an interesting comparison. ZX I thought was going to be more up in the back line, but they've been kind of just sort of helping in the front line a lot of times. So I'm interested to see how this works on defense.
We'll find out. I wonder if Mini Soul Reaver is actually going to go for this far. The Mercy pick does suggest that they might go for this far. Mini Soul Reaver, not really known for their own Pharah, however, they did play with NGL, who is extremely good Pharah in the EU scene. So I wonder if they've picked up any tips and they'll be able to use that Pharah to their advantage. However, they're going up against AOZ.
Well, they are committing to it. So, and they're already 50% away from the ultimate as well, Barrage. I mean, they're racking up very quickly. I mean, this pharmacy looking pretty good to almost secure this. They already got one player down already, and they're pushing them back. They're just destroying shields. The spam damage is so strong, and there's the Barrage we were waiting for. Almost gets them down, though. They do manage to survive, and they will stay alive. They get 2 ticks already. Boys, not messing around. I mean, it looks like they understood that they had to swap up the playstyle, and right now, this is aggression that, it's hard for Inferno to meet. When they're aggressive, Inferno definitely struggles a lot, and I think they've read that situation very well right now.
Yeah, Boosted Boys, going over to this forward pick, a Mini Soul Reaver built up a 30-second barrage. Like, that is crazy fast to build up that barrage, hitting all of the shots, and what the side of Inferno did wrong there is they give up space, which is fine. You're meant to go up space so far, not peek the far, try not let them build up that barrage. That's absolutely fine. But they give up so much space that AOZ couldn't get an angle. Their Ash was unable to do any damage to that far whatsoever. And that meant that Mini Soul Reaver just had free sightlines to do whatever they want. And that's definitely told in that last fight. But what they can do moving forward is they're a little bit more aggressive and try and leave that left-hand side high ground open for them.
Oh my gosh. Just flying Genji. It's just so interesting to me. Yeah, they gotta take care of this. I think honestly though, Mini Soul Reaver has been playing very well with this Pharah. Like, I've not been worried about the DPS just because of how low to the ground they've been playing, and they've been peeking corners, and this has been very nice. And here we go, AV has the Dragon Strike in hand, and they will be able to, I think, almost guarantee that they get this point, and a time big advantage will for sure happen here. Ritter Flux will be able to get one big bot, and it looks like they'll lock it down. At least the crowd control came from the Dragon Strike, and this, I gotta say, is coloring me impressed. And ZX, why did you do that?
Yeah, ZX is probably gonna switch here. I feel like it was just a Hail Mary, throw in the Dragon Blade, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna get. No, they're not. They're gonna stay on this Genji. So a bit of a mistake. Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. They're gonna go over to the McCree and pile up on this far, try and just pressure at least with these double hit scan heroes. They have all sort of. Well, okay, they'll throw everything out. They'll throw the whole as well. However, Resurrect goes off, but they have the ultimates for this next fight, and they have to win it now.
That's true. Well, I mean, already off the bat, Star does go down. That's at least one player so far. Mini Soul Reaver definitely is the one you want to focus on, and they will take themselves down a little too low to the ground. We might start actually seeing a swap here, as this would be very much an ideal time. It's too, claustrophobic, and yeah, we're gonna start seeing the swaps here.
I mean, they got value out of the Fora, and then they now
Oh, for sure.
they identified that there's going to be too much pressure on mini Soul Reaver, so they went over to the Ash sort of mirror matchup. And then we're kind of back to even Stevens. I mean, there's a little bit of an ult economy advantage for the defense in Inferno. However, that can be fixed within a couple of fights. And Star has got close to that gravitic flux. And I want to point out Star on the high ground in the fight, just on the last fight at point B, was doing so much damage that the whole gravitic flux comes through from the offense.
Okay. I mean, at the moment, it is not much to talk about here, Ocean. It is just really good defense coming in from Inferno. They're starting to get the hang of things, and I think it's just a question of how do, you know, the boosted boys find the aggression again, because that's when they were thriving.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to wait for their ultimates. They have both of the support ultimates this time around, so they'll be able to give resources to both of their DPS at the same time. And speaking of resources to your DPS, Mini Soul Reaver's just going to pick up 2 kills.
Oh, they beat out the immortality field. That's pretty huge, actually. So now there's a lot of AoE that can happen if they manage to get the opportunity to do so. And
That's
they'll
huge.
just drop the Dragon Strike, the halts right there. Yep, and much like Inferno was able to do to the Boosted Boys will just put them in a corner and put them in their places, it feels like. Will be able to stay alive. They do still have to get across the finish line just ever so slightly, but they're doing a great job of just keeping on the pressure, staying to the other side because they don't want to get that Wrecking Ball knocked down into them. They are dealing a lot of problems, though, because they have to deal with this Bob coming in from... Oh, no, actually, this is their Bob. But they have to fall back either way. There's just been too much damage going on, but they're ever so close. They're getting closer there, Ocean.
Yeah, you feel like they kind of bottled that fight, though. The stall came out, they just panicked. They weren't able to focus the same targets. Their target focus seemed almost lost in a way, but they managed to get it into one fight territory, so they can kind of set up for this last fight. And they also force stall picks, which resets Binksy and AOZ's ultimate bank, so they have a small advantage there. Unfortunate dynamite from any Soul Reaver. Good thing that doesn't have friendly fire on the other teammates, otherwise,
oh god,
maybe recognitions would have had a surprise there on the high ground for him.
Well, seems like things are locking down pretty quickly, though, for Boosted Boys ult economy-wise, as they do have a lot of things charging up soon. They have 2 minutes left. Would be nice for them to have time bank advantage, I'm sure, but I think they're more concerned about just trying to get it across the finish line now. Drop the window, again goes down. They feel hesitant almost. I feel like they're maybe just dry pushing for a little too long, maybe.
Yeah, they were definitely hesitant there, and they used the amplification matrix, tried to pump in a lot of damage. However, they'd already lost the fight. They lost their mid damage sources, so they've used an ultimate and not got much value. However, they'll have a good 5 ultimates for the next fight for Inferno to deal with, but we'll see if they can take advantage. Last time they had a big ultimate advantage. They used it pretty well. However, they were unable to finish that map.
Very true. Deadeye comes out. Great job from the Gravitic Flux. Will be able to allow ZX to find some serious damage, and now Boosted Boys retaliating. AV and Mini Soul Reaver pushing in, but unfortunately they don't really have the tank power to just sort of go in there all willy-nilly, but it seems like the picks are going to be enough for them to at least keep going and trying to keep the momentum of any kind. They're now under the time bank, and they will be maybe going into overtime. This fight has been going on pretty long. Dragon Strike will be dropped. They do have to touch it. They do at least have some stalling compositions, but they're going down one by one. I do believe we will see Boosted Boys finish within the time bank, but it will be very, very close. And yeah, there's all there's left is a Wrecking Ball, a Boost CEO coming in, trying to save the day. I mean, certainly having the spawn advantage does help a lot, but I think it only helps you for so long, Ocean.
Yeah, however, they are stalling at an extremely long time. They're not going to be quite able to get out to overtime, but time off the clock is good anyway for the defense, as both teams complete King's Row. We'll head to extra rounds, and I feel like just Mini Soul Reaver's adaptation this series has been particularly nice. You know, they struggled in the original Ashe duel once they switched over to the Ashe. One, because they had the higher ultimate charge, and they didn't have to reset their ult economy because they were on the Ashe the entire time. But they were able to adapt and eventually start winning those Ashe duels later on in that map, and they do finish them up, and that was the important thing. Boosted Boys stay in King's Row after Inferno had a pretty impressive time bank, so we'll see if they can get back into it. They will have the opportunity to continue their momentum and attack first. It looks like we're going to see that Aphora again from them on first point.
Have to wait and see. It is an attack spawn. We again can't, we can't assume everything, but it was a very effective hero for sure, as it did get the barrage like that, and then on top of that, they've managed to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. So I think that's sort of what they're going for here, especially when you go into the next round. You're just trying to cover as much ground as possible.
Yeah, Inferno, though, they could definitely adapt to this fight. They could see the Aphora coming and maybe not rotate as deep as they did previously, give AOZ a little bit more space. And it looks like they're going to go for the double hit scan off the top. So that Aphora gets limited value. So they have 2 hit scans to play around and 2 hit scans to try and find an angle on this Aphora. But if they can't, they could be in some trouble here, Inferno.
Very true. Good halt, does some damage. Going through Hotel, already get Nigel. That's at least some of the healing gone. But Mini Soul Reaver, yeah, this was expected. Going to be one of the first ones to go down. Greg will res them, but is it going to be enough? They need to be able to push in and punch with that spam damage. And they're playing in the back. They are sort of eyes locked on them, super focused. Gonna have to stay low to the ground. Almost a ground ferret, really, if they really want to stay alive here. ZX going down, though. That's a big pick. That means the Ash is the only one remaining. And it looks like they will be able to get the point overall. This fight is slowly but surely being won by Boosted Boiis. That's the Farah still staying alive, and they're close also to their barrage. They just got to do a little bit more damage, and they will be able to lock it down. But it looks like not even need to worry about that. They will keep going. And now that they have a barrage pushing in Ocean, that potentially could be a nice gate opener to guarantee that they don't get stopped at Arch.
Yeah, I don't think they can get stopped at Arch. I think they killed the side of Inferno so late that they won't even get spawns in time to hold the archway. They're going to get through the archway, which means they are going to be through one of the most torrid chokes on this entire map. Inferno do have some ultimates on the defense. They'll probably have their supercharger late in the fight. They'll have the amplification matrix, and they'll definitely have Deadeye. However, one thing that would concern me from Inferno is AOZ on first point King's Row has been unable to find an angle on Mini Soul Reaver or anything to even build up that blob. It's been 2 times in a row now that AOZ has not been able to build up any ultimate, and Banksy going down is certainly not going to help them.
No, that is massive. Mini Soul Reaver, though, is getting burned alive, and Greg just got shot out of the sky by ZX. They have the Deadeye, and they are going to be flanking around the back. I don't think they're aware. Oh, it doesn't find the damage, though. The barrage will come in. They still do damage. And they managed to find ZX in the end. A very good attempt of a flank there from Inferno, but it was not to be into fruition.
They use all of their ultimates as well, Inferno. They don't anything except maybe the bulb for the next fight. Nitrous Frost has been unable to do anything on this Brigitte. 58% Durelli, and they haven't even used one yet, so that's extremely poor. Mini Soul Reaver making the swap over to the Ash to try and nullify AOZ, who doesn't even have the bulb yet. And here comes the Supercharger just to try and get as much progress as possible.
And also, yeah, this is great as well that they swapped over into the Ash, understanding the situation. TNTs galore. They've been amazing on getting the Bob very quickly, but that being said, AZO was on the Ash originally, so they'll have the Bob first. Gravitic Flux will come out. I think this might be finally where the push ends, and it looks like it. One by one they will go, but this was a lot of ground covered for 60 seconds, Ocean.
Yeah, 60 seconds, and you get, like, pretty much halfway through point C. And I really like that Anastasia. I feel like Boosted Boiis know that they're not getting to the end there with the ultimate economy they have. So what they do is they use the Valkyrie and the Supercharger, and basically, their DPS have hella damage, right? So they're forced to back off on the side of Inferno. They're forced to back off and give up space, which means more progress on the cart for them, which means on their defense, should they get to point C Inferno, they have to get through another corner that maybe you wouldn't have had to get through before if those ultimates weren't committed by Boosted Boiis. So smart planning from them to make sure they get around a difficult corner of the map. And Inferno are definitely in a tough spot if they want to win King's Row and regain control of this series.
True. But they have 2 minutes. They just got to be good at their aggression. Or, you know, they just got to hope that Boosted Boiis is going to be too big for their britches. I think that is where the win condition lies. So it potentially looks like it would be match point, excuse me, for the Boosted Boiis. This is their map pick after all, so you would hope that this would be the case.
Yeah, we'll find out. It's definitely a hard one to predict, but I also going for the 4 now as well. So we'll see if there's an adaptation from the defense. If they maybe don't give us much space up to that 4, maybe commit to that duel a little bit stronger because they do have the Mercy with the Ash instead of the Brigitte, which gives more power to the DPS in the duel. However, you lose that more consistent healing of the Brigitte.
Very true. Though, it seems like they're very optimistic. And Greg has always been confident in this Pharah. Or not Pharah, but the Mercy. The other part of the Pharah. The Pharmacy. They will keep going. They do get the first tick. They are making good time here on inside of Inferno. They're still... Nobody's touching, really. They just kind of locked it down. There's the barrage as well. It does get shot down, but nobody was really touching the point, so now they've just kind of handed over some ground covered and making up for lost time here on the side of Inferno.
That was an extremely messy fight. Neither team really won that fight until until Boosted Boys realized that they just gave it up the point for free, and then they just decide to feed because the fight's lost. There's no point fighting there anymore. So one thing that is beneficial for them now is AOZ's went over to the Ash immediately, so they're going to be able to take that Ash duel. They know that realistically they're not going to have as much space now, just Frosh going over to the more consistent Brigitte pick for those heals as well. So they will have an ultimate advantage for Inferno, but not yet. They will have to wait till about mid-fight to get both of those tank ultimates online, and they'll have the advantage then. However, they have to get there and pass through the out matrix. But I think they will get there, because Binksy's at 93, DZ's at 94, and you have to think that Inferno are now in the driving seat after that big mistake from Boosted Boys, unable to get an archway hold, unable to get a point A hold. It's going to be difficult for them.
It will be, you're right. This is certainly... They're certainly not in the driving seat on Boosted Boys. They do need to get some good initial picks, but they are dropping everything. They're pressing Q right now because they want this fight to be over. Dragon Strike comes out. Clawspawn was able to get Ninja. That's the main tank gone. They couldn't drop the Supercharger to charge it up in time, but it might be not necessary, as it looks like Boosted Boys, once and for all, will be able to win out this map. Looked scary for a little bit, but they will be able to get match point.
Yeah, Boosted Boys coming back in that fight. As soon as IV Vaccinations got that pick, it was winnable for them. But before that, Inferno had the advantage. They were fully prepared to take that advantage. But that pick from IV Vaccinations on the Ayose, from the Hanzo of IV, twist that by the round. Twist it in favor of Boosted Boys because they don't have the Ash damage. They don't have the consistent dual power against both the snipers, the Ash and the Hanzo on the side of Boosted Boys. And they use that to their advantage, and they will take King's Row, regain control of the series, and be 2-1 up in our Xbox EU GitGud Grand Finals.
It will be. They've been certainly both teams have been shepherded in their own way of just sort of giving into what the teams wanted. So it's been still close. I still could imagine this being a map 5, but Boosted Boys closed it out now. Wouldn't be surprised either. We are going to go into I believe 2CP assault next, so we're going to see 2CP, so we're going to go in and see how that works out. I think we are going to go into a break real quick though, so yeah, we'll go into a break real quick. We'll be back with the next match. Will it be Boosted Boys taking it all the way, or will Inferno bring it to a map 5? Find out just real quick.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? ELO Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just what you're doing.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the ELO Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Back. It is match point for the Boosted Boys. They did manage to close out after all. They made an inch into a mile, or whatever the EU metric system is that, because we're in the GitGud Xbox EU final. And obviously, I'm Bevan. Along with me is Ocean. The entire body of water has come here to swim your way through analytical analysis. Ocean, talk to me. Boosted Boys looked pretty confident. It was a little bit scary there for a second with Inferno pushing pretty far. But now it is match point. Do you think Volskaya will be the death sentence, or not the death sentence, that's a little too harsh, but the kind of finisher for Inferno, or do you think Inferno can bring this to map 5?
First of all, this is Inferno's map pick, but it's also my favorite map. So I'm gonna give Inferno a little bit of props just for picking the map. Volskaya, it's my favorite map in the entire game. They will be attacking first as well, and I feel like the sub for Mini Soul Reaver coming in, it just really did help the side of Boosted Boys. I'm not sure why I completely think that. I think if Ford is getting so much value, it might just be infiltrating those thoughts into my brain. But I feel like Mini Soul Reaver did get the better of Iozi in that 4 versus Astro and Ash versus Astro as well, whereas Manic was struggling on Junkertown to do that. So that's the change that Boosted Boys have made, and I think that change is going to work for them. I think we might see Manic back in for Control later on, since Manic was so dominant on Control on Oasis. So we definitely could see Manic back later on, but I feel like Mini Soul Reaver for now is a great pick for them. Well, Sky Industries, I feel like we're going to see more of the same. I mean, I would love to see some Dive, Diva Winston. This is like the OG Dive map. I would love to see some Sombra as well. Some of my more favorite heroes in Overwatch to watch. Sombra, Diva, Winston. And I do really actually like watching Break play. Please don't curse me out for that one, but I really do enjoy watching Break play because it's super enjoyable to see different play styles, different tech. There's a lot of Brigitte tech actually, and a lot of thought that goes into playing Break at a high level, so I would like to see that. And usually you don't really see that Break tech on console, but it would be nice to see.
I mean, we saw it happen a couple of times. I mean, the meta does dictate for Brig, so I don't think it's too foreign a concept to just say, hey, yeah, Brig is still here. And then also on top of that, it's just a good hero overall, so I think your wish will come true. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to rip you a new one for it either. Going into Volskaya, though, one of my concerns is that how wide and open the area of the map is. Again, that is something that does come to haunt Inferno from time to time, as we've seen throughout this series. So I'm curious how they'll be able to handle it, pushing on through, because right now we're going to see the defense come out for our friends on Boosted Boiis.
I mean, what Star is extremely good at on the Sigma is using the map, using the space around the map just to pipe in damage around those hyperspheres. Sometimes goes a little too far out wide, which means they lose a lot of the defensive utility that Kinetic grasps, gains them from him being a little bit tighter. Whereas I'm not really bothered about the shield being far away. Sigma shield, I kind of sometimes just use it as a personal shield. It's good for taking off angles. Oh, I'm taking an off angle. I'm open. I'm going to use the shield. I'm just going to poke in damage. That's what Sigma Shield is really good at. But Kinetic Grasp has a lot of utility when you are around your team, and that's what Star loses out on. But this is a very open map, so I feel like that does help Boosted Boys. However, if Daisy can kind of make both these teams play in tiny chokes, like on this right-hand side near the Mega Hull Pack Room, then I think the advantage does go to Inferno.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Inferno already off the bat able to get Mini Soul Reaver, and they're kind of pushing them into a corner. And we saw this at King's Row at the very near end of the last point, that once they were pushed back into a corner, it was just all downhill from there. That being said, Star kind of being the aggressor here, the Star hero, if you will, trying to do what they can, but the first tick will be taken, and it looks like it will be the point taken altogether, as Izzo will just use the skybox to their advantage and just wipe everybody off the face of this map.
Right, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Ashul. ZX wins it. And look at the ultimate charge. Mini Soul Reaver on 31%, ZX on 86%. That is the difference between the hit scans in that last fight, and it shows. Because that means that they're able to get the opening pick and get so much more damage in, and they're able to win that fight pretty cleanly. And they're also up to that Valkyrie already, so they have a big advantage in terms of Mercy, and they have that support ultimate going online here.
I do. Damage boost plus the AoE healing is super nice. That being said, though, one big bot goes down. The window's working out for them. Oh, and when they go for the res, that is when the Pharah does go down. As we see Mini Soul Reaver popping off at the moment. And they will just have to force them to fall back. So the momentum instantly gone like that for our friends on Inferno.
Okay, Mini.
Yeah, that was nutty.
Yeah, Mini Soul Reaver claimed 4 kills in that last fight. After losing the Astro in the previous one, now that ultimate advantage between the Ashes is gone. And Purple used the Valkyrie, so obviously that isn't there anymore. However, I would talk about the advantages being used, but they're already back up to 50%, so that differential is gone as well. So Inferno now have lost all of their advantages and don't really gain anything from that last fight, which means Boosted Boys in a pretty good spot for the next one.
That's true. But Inferno didn't lose anything for the fight except for momentum, so it's even playing field right now. You'd rather be even than at a deficit, so let's just go with this with a glass half full attitude. That being said, the Dragons are very, very hungry and will start eating up DZ. And Inferno will unfortunately have to fall back. They didn't drop too many ultimates, and on the side of Boosted Boys, they kind of exerted almost everything they had, so oh, well, actually, never mind. There was a lot of investment there coming in from the side of Inferno. They do at least have the barrage, though, but I don't know how much value it gets here in a small map like that.
I'd rather have Supercharger over Barrage any day of the week. As I said, Supercharger had the highest teamfight win percentage of any ultimate in Overwatch League Season 2. They will have the Barrage, though, for the next fight Inferno. So they have got a tool. They have a win condition set for them. So it's pretty... Oh, and Star's gone, so no Kinetic Cross needed up. This is their opportunity to go, go, go.
Very good. I do need to make sure that... Oh, looks like Azio's just going to go ahead and just try to get things out of the way. Oh, the Mercy! Oh my gosh, Greg! Just, I don't know, they did Mission Impossible. Yeah, okay, they got the res on the other side, but is Purple going to be able to stay alive after that? Well, they got a tick after... You know what, actually... Wow, that res was a lot more beneficial on the side of Inferno, and now they've locked it down because things were awkward. The Mercy was away from the rest of the team, so that's one healing gone. The Winston's going to come in. Big Flux comes out, though. Everything's going to go down. Inferno, I believe, just found that opening thanks to that Pharah duel and going a little bit aggressive. I am pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, that all comes because Star gets caught out of position down. That means the barrage is free. There's no Kinetic Cross, no shield. All that defensive utility that Sigma has is gone. Star has to be feeling a little bit upset with himself after that one. That's just a mistake that just could have been avoided. And, I mean, from that, they're just able to push in. Even after the Resurrect comes off in a Mason Reaver, Purple with the Valkyrie just comes in flying and gets Izo back up on their feet. And they're able to take second point Volskaya Industries with 3 minutes or so on the time bank. Pretty decent time bank for them. However, Boosted Boys, they know what they're up against. They could set up to get a time bank similar and play like that. However, they have to be flawless. And you have to feel they let the opportunity slip to at least hold for another minute or so after when Star went down. So mistakes were made for Boosted Boys, but they have the chance to redeem themselves.
They do. It's a pretty hefty time bank, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are going to go ahead and rock the fair on defense here. Don't know how much of a fan you are about that, Ocean.
Not really. I mean, you have a lot of space to operate around. I guess you can use the natural cover, like with all the buildings. But
is it because it doesn't synergize, or was the reason you're not a big fan of
it? There's just there's no cover for the far to play around. Apart from that, like little choke, there's nothing. So realistically, many Soul Reaver and Ivy Vaccinations can have open sidelines. Even the X Elliot on the Baptiste has an open sideline on that far, which means free damage onto the main front. Okay, never mind. I was just killing things and proving me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a small... they have to go through choke, and maybe they don't even need to fly. They could just be a ground Pharah, and that could work too. They have the high ground for that, so they can still technically fly with the power of platforms. But at the moment, though, it seems like a rotation here is now going to be base versus base. When did it turn into a MOBA? I don't know, but it is going to be that situation. Mini Soul Reaver will go down once again, though, so that res is not going to be worth it again. Oh, is the TNT also going to do damage for them? No, it's not going to be the case, but here we go. It's base versus base here, Ocean.
Yeah, so they're trying to get this high ground, so they have an extra angle in the fort. However, Mini Soul Reaver just gets caught on rotation as ZX takes the off angle, and again, caught out by ZX in the Astro. He's focusing so much on this fort, and ZX is just taking off angles and getting those kills, and they need to make sure that maybe DZ is shutting out that Ash so that Mini Soul Reaver has room to work with, but now they're just stuck in a corner, and it's not looking good for them.
Golly gee willikers, boy, are you right, Ocean. This is not looking hot. Mini Soul Reaver getting absolutely bodied. Look at that. They're at 50% only, while ZX is at their bob already. This is This is exactly what you see. Azel going down. That's pretty big. The pharmacy's gone, but the Bob's going to come in. So can they just keep the momentum? Didn't get much value, so this might be finally the opening that they're looking for. Got a little too hasty there on the pharmacy, so now people are going down one by one. It's just the tanks and the supports remaining, just trying to survive, and it looks like Boosted Boys managed to find the opening. Nicely done.
Yeah, so we talked about in that first fight how Iozi was just playing really safe and allowing ZX just to take the off angle and try and pressure Mini Soul Reaver out so that they can't, Mini Soul Reaver can't shoot the forward because they're getting shot at by an Ashe and they're just getting picked off. However, Iozi, after that first fight, when they were playing really sensibly, just playing around cover, making it so that Ashe can't hit them, plays a little bit more aggressive. Gregolas activates Valkyrie, which means they have advantage in the Ashe versus forward duel. And Gregolas also picks up the Mercy, which means that Boosted Boys get the 4 Mercy and then pretty much get a free fight win. Ultimate economy, even for this next fight, so it could be a pretty juicy one, especially in the mid fight after Inferno maybe used a couple of ultimates.
Potentially. I mean, Inferno is... they only need to drop the Gravitic Flux, and the splash damage coming in from the Pharah just was enough, I think, to just overwhelm them. So they will have to come back here. Oh my gosh.
That counts as an environmental kill.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess enough damage, fair enough. There's a little bit of knockback, potentially.
Yeah, so let's talk about the ultimates again here. So they got their Gravitic Flux out of the defense, which is fine for them because that's an ultimate. But also the fight lasted barely any time at all. The offense, you want quick fights instead of longer fights because then it doesn't drain your time bank. So for the defense, you're using one ultimate for a team fight win. That's also good, but you aren't draining the time bank as much as you should be.
Very true. Let's see what happens. Oh, that is an interesting graphical error of just the TNT sticking onto the shield. Don't know if anybody caught that. If you did, clip that on Twitch. Send it over to us. It's very interesting. Anyways, speaking of interesting, this team is wrapping it up. Inferno, again, you've talked about this before, Ocean. They're a pretty good defensive team, and it's showing once again, and this might be where the downfall starts happening a lot of the times, is where you get these very bunkered situations.
Yeah, so they've already got a better time bank than the side of Boosted Boys. So now the goal is to push them at least to overtime. That's probably their goal right now. And they have the ultimates to do so. They'll have the Barrage and the Bob, so they're going to want to use probably the Barrage first, try and get a quick team fight win, which I know I'm kind of contradicting myself saying, you know, defense doesn't really want quick team fights, but then you're able to build the Barrage in a fight where you're going to take it a little bit slower and make it a stall fight with the Bob, and then there you go, you have the advantage already. But we're seeing Mini Soul Reaver now going into that forward duel to make it difficult on AOZ to get that Barrage off, so that plan might have to go out the window.
Potentially. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, there's so many possibilities coming out here for our friends on Boosted Boys, because they're just focusing on picks. Their win condition right now is what they feel is winning the team fight, then trying to take the point. And it's working out for them pretty much for the most part. Only having ZX as the only the real casualty there. And there it is. I mean, they're able to take it down. And I do also like the fact that AV is on the McCree now, working very well against this Pharah. They will be able to trade. Not great because spawn advantage is in favor for Inferno, but I mean, they're doing a good job. They managed to get the first tick. Will be able to get the second. Depends if they close it out. They do have the Deadeye. AV will be able to get DZ. That's a big stall comp member of the stall comp as well, and they will be able to lock it down. Oh my gosh, AV. Pure Deadeye within the accuracy, able to lock it down for them.
Yeah, I want to talk about that fight quickly because we kind of discussed that there was a small ultimate advantage for Inferno. But the DPS ultimates, the Barrage, got nothing. The Bob was melted immediately. And then the pick from AV onto the Baptisme, it's a big advantage now for the other side. It's completely twisted on its head. So Inferno, coming back to that old problem we saw earlier in the series where they just are unable to get any value out of their ultimates. And that means the Boosted Boys are now back in a chance of winning this map. Momentum's maybe shifted a little bit because that fight should have been Inferno's, but it wasn't. So they have to be thinking about that, definitely. And now Boosted Boys have a reset. They know what they're working with. They'll be attacking again here. We'll see if they opt for something a little bit different, but Inferno, making a couple of mistakes in that last fight, however, will have a time back advantage, so still technically the favorite for this map, but that mistake from both of their DPS players could cost them.
Essentially, we'll see. I think also on top of that, it's interesting that we see sometimes the commitment to heroes for a very long time, and I feel like it would be nice to see them switch because we don't see a lot of counter picks going on right now. So I'd be interested to see if that would happen more throughout the rest of the series. But we'll see if there's even more rest of the series because Boosted Boys could potentially just lock this down. We'll see. They've managed to make an inch into a mile with the 60 seconds that they had in King's Road. Let's see what they can do with 60 seconds on Volskaya, as they will try to get the first point here. If they get at least point A, they'll be in a pretty good position to buy some time and have a little bit of wiggle room to themselves. As Star already just being the lone warrior as they are, trying to see if they can get any initial picks. It's a little bit of back and forth, and definitely don't want to give this Pharah any charge. That being said, though, AV going down. They have to res it already. They need to push in on this aggression. The Star will almost go down. Mini Soul Reaver goes down as well, and this is looking pretty good. A crossfire set up here by Inferno to set them up for success.
Yeah, so they need to back off quickly here, Boosted Boys. That pick's not going to help them. They need to back up quickly to make sure that they can get a last 6v6 fight, but it's not possible now. Heavy Vaccinations goes down. They went to the McCree for the adaptation against the Pharah, but it hasn't worked out. AOZ's been popping off so much on this defense, already 92 to the barrage.
And while you just said 92, went to 97, we'll have the ultimate ready. Don't think there really is anything that can be done here on the side of Boosted Boys to really bring this back. Need an absolute miracle of just the team standing still. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Inferno, they got defense on lockdown. And now, with basically 3 minutes, they just need to get one tick here, Ocean.
Yeah, 3 minutes on the clock, one tick of the point. They can really just set up for one clean team fight if they want to, maybe even 2 clean team fights where they have maybe 5 or 6 ultimates ready to go. And I'm gonna go back to AOZ. I criticized how they played on their point A defense in the last round because that first fight they took was so clean, so disciplined, making sure that they stay out of range of many Soul Reavers, stay out of range of AV vaccinations, and then they balled it and just got overexcited and went for some kills. But now, again, we go back to that point A defense. They're so disciplined, and they're then again hitting the shots when they need to. When they can come and pick a taken angle, they're hitting the shots, they're building the barrage, and that barrage was ultimately the tool that finished off that last fight. So, back to the best for AOZ on the Pharah, however. If they lose concentration again, it could cost them.
Potentially. Just, it is such a weird thing. You can't... It's trying to keep an open mind so that way you're aware of your surroundings, but you don't want a tunnel vision as well. And there's just this awkward gray area. But, I mean, it's 3 minutes. Worst case scenario, they draw. And that's not great, but it's not the worst situation. We'll see. Map 5 definitely would be nice to see either way, though. I think this is definitely going to be happening with 3 minutes left on the clock. Pharmacy coming in, riding into the waves. If they get the Pharmacy right away on the side of Boosted Boys, it's going to be pretty much over. Jumping up, ZX will try to find it, gets the TNT, does a little bit of AoE damage. DZ does go down, though. That's the shield gone, but ZX still has the high ground to their name. And speaking of high ground, even higher is Azo. Just doing some spam damage. And just the DPS is trying to lock it down. Maybe even just dry pushing right now just to build the ultimates because they have the time.
Yeah, and I would like to point out many Soul Reavers playing even more disciplined than AOZ was. Like, you barely see that far. They're just kind of playing behind that natural cover, and then I take a little bit more of an aggressive angle, which they can do because ZX hasn't got into the fight yet. But now they have to play deep, and they're playing really disciplined because they know if they get picked off, they could lose it right there.
True. I mean, they have to touch the point right now either way. There's halfway to that one tick that they need on the side of Inferno. And they're going in. The barrage comes in, but they trade it out. Mini Soul Reaver now has the high ground. And the Res Ninja boosted boys, they're doing what they can. It's so close though, but ZX shooting down Mini Soul Reaver. I think this is pretty much all they wrote with this window coming out. One by one, they will come in. Bob comes out, and Star can't do anything about that, no matter how impressive of a solo Sigma you are. And that is it. We are going to Map 5, Ocean, for this grand finals.
Yeah, Map 5 for your EU console Xbox Grand Finals. Here at GitGud, this is super exciting. What a series. Boosted Boys take Map 1, Inferno take Map 2, Boosted Boys take Map 3, Inferno answer right back, and it'll all be decided with one last control map.
Well, if any consolation, I hope it's not anticlimactic, because it was a pretty convincing 2-0 in the first control map. So going into another one, you know, I feel like if they weren't going to lock it down this map in map 4, I think map 5 may spell doom for Inferno. But we'll have to wait and see. Technically, well, I don't know. It's actually technically the counter pick for Boosted Boys as well. So it's a map type that they've seen very dominant on, and it is their counter pick. That's double trouble.
Yeah, so, I mean, Inferno are number 1 seeds, and it's really difficult to bet against them. Boosted Boys have been terrific on control this series. They now have their map pick as well, so they definitely have that advantage. And they also are probably going to throw Manic back into it. Mini Soul Reavers are great this entire series on DPS, but I feel like Manic was just so good on Oasis that they have to bring him back in for control, especially since he kind of just lost that duel on both Sky Industries. I think that would be a safe play. Maybe even keep Mini Soul Reaver and put them on the Orisa. SF Ninja has looked pretty good on the Orisa, but so did Mini Soul Reaver. So if they want to keep that star power in the lineup, they definitely could keep Mini Soul Reaver in and put them back on Orisa like they were on Oasis. So those are the options for Boosted Boys. However, the momentum is in favor of Inferno. They won the previous map. AOC's looking extremely clean on the far, apart from that one mistake on Volskaya Point A, and a couple of mistakes on Ash on King's Row. They are looking pretty good in the DPS sort of front for Inferno. So that's the matchup we're going to focus on. But I think we're going to go to a quick break before our map 5.
Yes, absolutely. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to decide who is the grand champion of the GitGud Xbox EU final.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting installment of GitGud Xbox EU Final. We're here in the grand final. It's map 5, and we're going to Lijiang Tower now. If I remember correctly, Ocean has said that this is a map that was very in favor for the Boosted Boys, and this is their map pick after all. So, are we feeling like this is going to be a bit of an anticlimactic end, my friend?
I feel like we are going to see that to come out again, but that is beautiful. That is fantastic. That is the best intro I think we've ever had to get good map 5. But we are about to go to map 5 here on Lijiang Tower. Boosted Boys won this map yesterday in their emphatic win over Oblivion and have the chance to win here again. They won the control map earlier. Let's see if they can do it again.
And it wasn't only just just a 2-0 win. It was a very convincing win. They had it on lockdown. Crossfires were set up. High ground were taken advantage of. So, going into this, let's talk about the maps that are sort of similar to these two. So, if we talk about wide open ranges, we're thinking of Garden and Night Market. And I think those are the winning maps for our friends on the Boosted Boys. Now, do you feel like there is any of those two maps that are winnable for Inferno? Because again, they're wide open maps and they can be easily flanked.
Well, let's start with Garden, because Garden probably in favor of either. Actually, I think this is an even matchup on Garden, because Inferno have looked pretty good on the Pharah as of recently. AOC is really disciplined on the Pharah, as is Mini Soul Reaver. So that is a pretty even matchup. And the tank line, I mean, that definitely will favor Star on the side of Boosted Boys. They like to take nice wide angles, play from afar. Yeah, definitely favor Star compared to DZ. So Boosted Boys will definitely like that. Whereas Night Market, a little more close quartered. I think both of these teams will probably apply some sort of symmetric teleporter strategy. So that'll definitely favor probably DZ, and that'll also probably favor Inferno on Control Center. But as we saw how Control went earlier, I feel like that I feel like that just does help the side of Boosted Boys, because they just dominated in Control. They won this map yesterday. However, if I kind of break it down into maps, it's Inferno's win. So we'll just have to see. This is going to be a crazy map 5 for our Get Good Xbox EU final.
I do hope for a little bit of a shake-up outside of the double shield, if I'm personally honest. I would love to see Dive, at least for the Garden, because that's such a viable composition. But looking at this, I have a feeling we're going to see people playing it safe here, and we have to wait what seed comes out of spawn. But do you think there's anything outside the double shield that could work potentially here? Do you think the Dive is viable, even without the Lucio being so good?
I feel like we are going to see Dive. I think Lucio might just be for speed boost out of spawn, but we actually saw Dive from the side of Boosted Boys yesterday when they
Okay.
played this map, and Boosted Boys looked pretty good on the dive, especially against Oblivion, who are also quite good at dives. So that's when they're going to match up with. But Daisy's going to go for the Roadhog to try and hard counter SF Ninja on this Winston. That is their plan. Will it work? Is the question though.
It's a big question. You need to make sure that you have good coordination with your Winston, because the D.Va needs to follow through, and you follow up with there and you go absolutely mental. So we're going in here, securing the point. Unfortunately, Hero going down right away. It's not a good sign for things to come for the Boosted Boys, unless they have really good coordination. But man, it goes down as well, and that's going to be the damage out of the way. And this is already looking not so hot for them. That being said, they are able to try to hunt down as much. They are a little bit back and forth, but I feel like it's already been locked down here. The Winston not really having much help, and Star has been a thing going on by themselves. You can't have the Winston by themselves. They need to have their companion with them, and they didn't. But the boss bomb! Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me there? AV is able to lock it down, and the DPS just made me eat my words.
Yeah, AV Vaccinations coming up clutch with that pulse bomb. Look pretty slick so far this season series. Hero Epics coming in to play the Lucio on this control map. Nothing surprising there, but Hero Epics, I mean, the best opening to that fight, but this dive composition favors nice, long, drawn-out fights, which means that you can build a pulse bomb, build up all those ultimates, and SF Ninja able to get lots of damage in on that Winston and build up to that Primal Rage as well. So, first capture and first advantage for the side of Boosted Boys.
Looks like it. We'll see how long that lasts, though. There's still a couple of ultimates on the way, and DZ could drop the whole hog and do a lot of damage to do the knockback. It doesn't even seem to matter. The damage booster, one big butt, able to lock it down, and they will be able to just wrap it up here. Would have been nice to see a stagger on the baby D.Va, but hey, this already looks pretty strong, and they also still have a couple of ultimates still waiting in the wing.
Yeah, they only invest the supercharger and the whole hog, so just those tank ultimates gone, and whole hog not a huge value ultimate. I would be concerned about dropping that supercharger. That's one ultimate that you are going to miss, but this ACL Mercy composition isn't great at dealing with much damage anyway. So that supercharger damage, yeah, it's going to win you a fight, but it's not critical to winning a fight. Like ultimates like Dragon Blade are in the current meta. Here comes the self-destruct from Star.
Well, there's a lot of shields. They are still running the Orisa, so there at least is some protection and also some sustaining heal as well, so it can keep them alive. But while I've been saying this, Jedi comes out, doesn't able to find anything. Boosted Boys are able to turn it back around with a couple of ultimates waiting, just riding there. Get a boop as well. Pulse Bomb comes out. ZX doesn't go down because of it, but AV should be able to get them at one point in there, and they're able to flip back the point. They will be able to get the stagger onto the McCree, not without at least a trade for ZX to go out of.
Yeah, somewhat unfortunate for Parable flying back as that X and just going down to that pulse bomb. A lot of ultimates expended from the side of Boosted Boys. They just used all of their ultimates cleverly, though, and in exchange for a fight. When they used the self-destruct to force the side of Inferno to rotate around, as we're going to see the barrage be looked at here for Aza, but the self-destruct came and forced an area for them to push into. Manic took advantage and then used the barrage.
Interesting. Dropping the sound barrier before even noticing the barrage. I suppose they just feel like they can use it as a engaging tool. And the Boosted Boys, they want to make this last teamfight territory. And they are making it so. Binksy going down is not a good sign. Azo trying to find an opening with the barrage. We'll go ahead and drop it. If I able to find SF Ninja. Well, that's going to be roughly about it. But that is the main tank gone. 5% remaining. Will they be able to flip it back? Zixobi, will he be able to find something with the pulse bomb? Finding it soon. The wick will go down though. A barrage comes in from Manic. Looking like things are going to be wrapped up in a neat little bow. I said they're going to be able to wrap it up. Pulse bomb comes up. Verbal will go down, and there it is. One map away from winning. And as we suspected, Boosted Boys working very well with this wide open map.
Yeah, Star was just had so much freedom on that D.Va. Didn't have to set up the Winston too much. All Star had to do was make sure that the Winston was one alive. That's all they had to do, and then they could go off and do their own thing. Nullify flanks. They were nullifying AOZ in particular very, very well. But other than that, I mean, Inferno just didn't look impressive on that map. They were never able to gain any space with the double shield composition. They just got outplayed by the dive composition. And now, I mean, now they are playing like in close quarters. This is going to be Inferno's game. They are really good at playing in these close quarter double shield compositions. That's what Big T's good at. Big T is an insane Arista player, so they are good at these compositions. However, is it even going to matter? Are they too far down and out in this series? Because Boosted Boys have the advantage.
Boosted Boys certainly do, but you can never count out a person when they're not entirely out. They do technically have the chance to tie this up and bring it down to the one and last final map. That being said, both Sigma's able to find the Baptiste, but the res will come in. And there we go, Inferno. Their priority was to set up on the point, and they rushed to it, and they will be able to win that outright. They didn't even need a symmetric teleporter. They just prioritized the point, and I think Inferno, with that coordination, was able to pull it out further.
Yeah, Inferno, as I said, they're better at these nice close-winded fights. That's what they're good at. They're able to be controlled in their higher. Iose gets struck down by the rock, and now it's advantage for Boosted Boys, and it's go time.
They can't even rest that. That body fell into the pit, and now they'll be able to go in. Manic, if they're able to get a barrage, probably it's going to be lights out for them and just flipping it back over. Still at 25%, it's nice. CX has gone down. That's amazing. And then the barrage will be finally dropped in, able to find at least 1, 2, or some damage to the rest of them. It will be a little bit of sticker revive. Oh my god, Spinsky able to buy a little more of that percentage, but it is going to be the point over for the Boosted Boys.
Yeah, so that's really not typical of Lijiang Night Market. Lijiang Night Market is really easy to hold after a first fight, especially when you're running a Pharah, because Pharah is extremely good at controlling space. Double Shield is extremely good at controlling space, especially when you have to go through tight angles, tight sort of doorways and chokes. And that's what you have to do in Night Market to even approach the point. But they lost that advantage when the Pharah went down. They lost all that spam damage, which meant that they couldn't control the space of the Pharah.
Oh,
and they my goodness! She's got again!
Oh, the Pharah! It's absolutely devastating. AV also has their Deadeye. Everything's ready. They didn't even need to really drop any ultimates for this fight. So Boosted Boys, I think they're really looking into just sort of securing this. That being said, Manic does go down, but they have the Deadeye to respond to the pharmacy, so they're in a pretty okay position. Oh, there it is. Gravitic Flux coming out. Deadeye able to find ZX. But now that means the Pharah, just going around and flanking. They will be able to find it. ZX also gets risked as well. And it looks like Inferno will be able to flip it back over and take back the lead. I must say, I'm very interested. It was a brilliant flank coming in there from Azio.
Yeah, Azio coming up clutch when his team needs it. And as we sort of look into the next fight, it's kind of all in the tank ultimates for the side of Boosted Boys. That's all they have to work with. I mean, Inferno, all they have to work with is, you know, that barrage. However, they have the advantage of just being able to control the space around the point. They have the double shield and the barrage as well, so they've got options.
They do have a lot of options, but will it be enough to... Will they have enough time to execute it? They're sort of getting picked off very, very quickly, and they don't really have a chance to do it. They are going to be able to build up the percentage quite significantly here on Inferno, but now... Will they be able to keep it? It looks like they will be able to. Didn't really need to drop too many ultimates as well, but Manic! Oh, Manic is able to go down, but damage has already been done. They will be able to flip it back over to the point. But look at that ultimate economy for them in Inferno side.
Yeah, Inferno do well just to keep it their advantage of just having control.
Are you kidding me? Wait, hold on. They get 2! Wait, they may be able to just clear this out and they're able to bring it back in time. They're able to have the Pharah stay alive, able to get 2 even after that. The Ridden Fox will come out, the Deadeye will come in to secure the kill onto the Hero Vex. Oh, and the Pharah not going to be able to get lucky this time. A brilliant Sigma Shield able to stop them midway through the sky. And we are going to Command Center. Inferno may actually still have potential to win this. They've won the impossible map. Now Command Center comes in, and this is a very tight corner map. This is all for nothing.
Yeah, what a series we have on our hands. It's been ping-ponging the momentum in this series the entire way through. Boosted Boys map 1, Inferno map 2, Boosted Boys map 3, Inferno map 4, and then Boosted Boys take Garden, Inferno take Night Market, and now we are here. Where does the cycle end?
It's a Newton's
And we're going to finally see a bit of a switch up on the compositions. We're going to see probably some sort of May composition from either team. I might stick with the 4. Actually, no, it's going to go over to the May. But want to talk about how Boiis played it well, or Inferno played it well originally when they were just using the space that they could control, using the 4 to control the space and extending the fight. Manic, yes, got that double burst. They technically won an engagement there. However, eventually the ult bank was too much. The ult bank that they had saved up was so much for Inferno that they were going to win Night Market.
Oh, well, at the moment, even though the Zarya is usually the more complementary off-tank for the Reinhardt, they will go down. And that means they have to disengage. The point will go over to Inferno and they can bully at the choke, which we know very well in command center, or control tower, excuse me, is a very hard thing to do. But no, they're actually going to allow them to push over to the point. Don't even try to buy for time. I don't know if that was necessarily the right idea. But if they get a good May wall, I'm excited to see if they're able to do it. If they can at least get the Reinhardt out of the way. It looks like they're able to. Once again, the Reinhardt gets taken down. ZX is the only one going to be out of commission for the moment. But it seems like they're going to just keep building up percentages. They got the window down. It's not necessarily at an angle that's ideal. But they're still able to get picks. And it's good coordination. If they get Star down, that charge is going to be gone. And that's going to be a reset. But the grab comes in all the way from downtown. And the Coalesce is able to follow up. Boost it, boys. Just flip it back, a little bit of a disengage, and that's all they needed to just spring right back in.
Yeah, so they just used all of their ultimates because they needed to win that fight. They're going to give too much options for the side of Inferno because they're running this more aggressive, close, controlled, brawl composition, and they're really good at that. Control Center is such a good map for Inferno. And if they give too much control over to Inferno, then they're going to win this series.
Well, they've given a lot of control. That Blizzard was massive! They were able to just take out everybody, and now they're fighting back onto the point. The Reinhardt's about to go down. DZ is not messing around anymore. They are tired of being called second best. They are going to prove it and keep the lead all the same.
Yeah, that's the problem of using all your ultimates in that one fight. They used the Graviton Surge and the Coalescence to make sure that they won that last fight. However, then they have nothing. Nothing to use for the next fight. Blizzard expended, and Sound Barrier as well. However, the fight is won, and percentage will keep ticking up for the side of Inferno as they at least aim to get this into last fight territory.
Oh, big Sound Barrier coming in there, as it will allow them to keep alive from the Gravitic Flux. But now, they got to be aware of this Earth Shatter's coming very soon. Deadeye comes out, though. Can't find anything, goes down right away, but the Coalescence might be enough damage and healing. That is, it's very hard to dodge a beam of light in a small room. That being said, though, Inferno have managed to get it to at least 85%, which is definitely a good marker on their part and could potentially make it last team fight territory.
Yeah, 85% is usually the marker that we use for last fight territory. And both these teams have the Earth Shatter online for the next fight. Boost Boiis will also have the Graviton Surge, so they'll have a small advantage in ultimate economy. However, Inferno have 40% more on the point.
Oh my goodness! The Earth Shatter is massive! But the Ice Wall comes out saving the day. Use the Immortality Field, though. That was just a very reactionary response to it. But we'll see how they work. There it is. The grab got denied! Wait, hold on. The grab went the other way around. Never mind. They got Earth Shattered, though. It did not go in the direction that they want. Here comes the Sound Barrier from the other side. The Blizzard comes in, misses everybody. This is pretty massive, but DZ going down is not what you want to see. This is going to be a hammer just swinging around. And the squishies are going to be absolutely revealed. They need to get a massive pick. And the Zarya is supercharged up. Here comes the Blizzard. If they can get the Reinhardt, they will be able to. Pink C! Oh my god, we'll be able to flip everything back over. They'll get back the point, but there is at least one more fight left in the tank. It will go into overtime one way or the other here, Ocean.
It's been ping-ponging the entire way, and now we have one last fight to decide. Oh, you have to look and question Star and Manic with their Graviton Surge and Blizzard usages.
Oh, they're
but now they're going to
Bugs.
get to the point.
That might be it. Wait, they got the ball. They're able to rush on in here. The Coalescence pushes in. They're able to get ZX. The Deadeye was not be able to successful. They have no ultimates to respond to this. The Deadeye will come out from AV. Gets blocked by the Ice Wall. Massive, but the Sound Barrier will allow them to keep pushing through. They flip it back over. Less than 10% remaining. SF Ninja is going to lead the charge and take it on fourth. 4% remaining. 3,
2, 1. They need to touch it. They will. The Earth Shatter gets blocked and they will be able to keep on going, but the Wick is going down. I do believe they have no way to come back from this. They have to swap over. Stagger comps. Hero picks will go down. Wait, hold on. Wait. DZ says no. I'm not done yet with you. And they'll be able to turn it back around. They're going at it one way or the other. Icefall's not into fruition. Stagger comms are being bought by time. The ball is able to buy just that ever so little bit. They don't have a maze, so they can't ice wall, but they're taking them out one by one. Gravitic Flux will come out. Soundbarrier comes in. They're going in one by one, and that's it. That's it. Inferno flip it right back over in overtime, and they are your champions of the Xbox EU Get Good Final.
What a series! We ping-pong back and forth the entire way. Inferno come back with the clutch factor, but we have to highlight that really poor team fight that let Inferno clutch it back, and that was the team fight where Manic used the Blizzard, 0 value. Star used the Graviton Surge, 0 value. Those are the plays that lose you championships and win you championships. Unfortunately, it lost them the championship today. Inferno took full advantage, and they will be your Get Good EU Xbox Grand Final champions.
Absolutely. And on top of that, they also had great reactionary times on the side of Inferno as well. We saw a grab, Earth Shatter, a bunch of things where they just responded so well with May walls and, invincibility fields. Just so many things there's that we could talk about. But condolences to Boosted Boys for just falling a little bit short, but congratulations to Inferno. Both teams put on a great show. Is there anything else you would like to say before we close it out here, Ocean?
I mean, congrats to both teams. That was an incredible show to watch.
Yes.
And also, congrats to Oblivion as well for putting up a show throughout the season. I mean, such an enjoyable EU Xbox scene to follow right now. A lot of teams just playing at their very, very best. Inferno, take the season this time around, but next time, I'll be super excited to see if Oblivion and Boosted Boys bounce back, because those three teams in particular have set a standard for the EU scene right now. And I mean, I just want to go do it all again. These teams have been fantastic. The series was fantastic. Congrats to Inferno. And I think that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun for me too. I had a fantastic time. So if you had a fantastic time, why don't you join the fantastic community? Join the Discord of the Elo Hill world, and also be friends with all the amazing people that run and organize these events. Special thanks to everybody. Special shout out to I believe this was their first ever grand final. Cinzia is the new director, so welcome over, friend. Well, actually, one of the directors, but either way, thank you to everybody. Thank you to production. Thank you to Bullskunk. Thank you to Demon's Druid. Thank you to my wonderful co-caster Ocean for having such a good time with me. I also want to thank these teams for putting on a good show. If you feel like you got the talent, you feel like you got the power, be sure to sign up and join us in our community. But either way, follow us on our Twitters, follow Elo Hell, and make sure to wear a mask and stay safe outside if you have to. But either way, we'll see you next time.